happens if the House just refuses to seat people?
There are a million.
What's the remedy?
Right. There are a million slips between the cup and the lip between now and a turnover in the House. And there's a really good chance Mike Johnson just says, nope, we're not seating anybody.
Yeah.
Accusations of voter fraud are so widespread that we can't do it. And you've got this entire institutional thing built up on the right. And one of the things these states ought to do, they ought to get restraining orders against Cleta Mitchell, against Heather Honey, against all these election denier people. Let's bring up that Cleta Mitchell slide we have somewhere in here. I had a long conversation with somebody the other day. She has built a multi-million-dollar influence operation called the Election Integrity Network, which is as ironic a name as you can imagine. And, and all of us, well, not you, Joe, but Stuart and I both, ran across Cleta in our Republican days many times, worked with her on projects back in those days. But she has now decided she is going to take everything from 2020 and turn it up to 11 and make it crazier than ever. And I think they're going to do some really awful shit at the close of this election cycle.
Yeah. It's extraordinary that Cleta Mitchell was not indicted in Georgia. Because in that Oval Office, when Trump is...
She was on that call.
Talking to the Secretary of State. And you can hear her where Trump's saying, well, not that she's going, no, ask for the votes. She's like coaching Trump.
Right.
I was just astounded that she wasn't indicted and disbarred like a lot of those characters around Trump.
The Jeff Clarks of the world.
Yeah. But, this is largely being funded by the same people who brought us to Federalist Society. Mm-hmm. And this is their new project.
Yep.
They're funded by $1.8 billion of the largest
individual gift in history.
Ever. A small, apparently highly successful electronics firm owned by one man gave all his stock. They transferred that stock to a trust, which was drawn up by a former clerk of Clarence Thomas's in his living room in Salt Lake.
Yep.
It was then sold to an Irish holding company, which means the money went to the trust, which saved them billions in taxes.
Yep.
And that's a lot of fucking money.
Well, it kicks off some enormous amount every year. Which is what Leonard Leo and these folks are using now for these operations. And they are clearly showing you what they intend. They're going to use every tool in the toolbox this November, which again goes back to we have to crush them at a level they have never imagined being crushed before.
That was the biggest pickup that I picked up is look, the legal stuff, there's going to be legal things that Elias and other people can do out there, and they need to be 100%. On top of it. Yeah. But what can you do? And the only thing, the thing that really matters is organizing the biggest turnout and the biggest vote that we can. So to get everybody out there, that's what all of us need to be doing, is to get that vote up and to, heads down, forget about, if they pull off this redistricting, fine. That we got to get that many more people out to win that district. But if we do that, that was the thing that was the thing that turned it more towards the pro-democracy, towards, beating these guys, was people actually organizing like voter militias to put themselves in between the polling place and ICE. I mean, literally more of us actually being out there present and not just voting, but being part of the eyes and ears that make the noise to stop this from happening. That's the most important thing any of us can do.
It really is I think the volume of public protest and public pressure on your Democratic state leadership and Democratic local leadership is really important, folks. Don't just think you're going to call your U.S. senator. You need to call your local Democratic county commissioner and your Democratic mayor and the Democratic sheriff, because these people are coming at every level. And I think it's really important that they hear from people very directly.